What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to JBuck Studios, your home for reviews, reactions, and ridiculousness. Anyways, though, I am very excited to finally be able to talk about Lovecraft Country. Episode 1 just aired, and we're going to be getting into the spoiler-free thoughts of this, but then we're jumping definitely into the spoilers of Episode 1. But before we get into all of that, let me know if you guys have seen Episode 1. What did you guys think? Are you looking forward to more of this series? What worked for you? What did not? Let me know in the comments down below. But without further ado, let's get into the spoiler-free portion, or my thoughts of Episode 1. And I think right from the get-go, sure that we're going to get into some stuff later, but right from the get-go, this sets the tone of what hopefully this rest of the series is going to be, of hitting this 1950s aesthetic, where I think the aesthetic very much stood out for me. The clothing, the atmosphere, the laws and the racism and everything that's going on at this time, along with the vehicles and how people are kind of interacting with one another. So the 1950s aesthetic very much lands for myself. Also, I like the kind of mixture of some of these more kind of hip-hop songs. You know, sure, some of the music and whatnot is very much from that era, but they threw in kind of a mixture of mixing up things, getting that vibe and tone set through Episode 1, but getting into the characters, the introduction of the characters. Jonathan Majors playing Atticus Black, Letty played by Jurnee Smollett, and then Courtney B. Vance playing George Freeman, their uncle. I think that this is a great kind of trio of getting this band together, going on this road trip, essentially. And that's what this first episode is a road trip episode, essentially. I mean, they're going to Chicago, they're going to Midwest, they're going to Ardham, they're going to all of these different areas, and it's them hitting the road and running into all of these, essentially, horrible shenanigans, and shenanigans in the worst way, because it's 1950s America. They are black people in America, so you can see what they're running into and what they're dealing with. And I think that that's another thing, is the historical kind of aspects that they put into this that very much are present at that time, and shows the fear of what these people had to deal with at that time. Sure, there's other things that go bump at the night, but what is more terrifying at this time? The law, the racism, or this mysterious things in the woods? So, spoiler free, I think that this was a great first go at this first episode, very much setting the tone, the characters, and the weird kind of H.P. Lovecraft combined with the historical elements for sure in this episode. But spoiler, we're getting into the spoilers right now. This first episode of Lovecraft Country is honestly amazing. Like, I loved from the first 30 seconds when it's war and then Cthulhu pops up and Jackie Robinson smashes it with a baseball bat. I was like, what kind of show are we getting into here? But I thought that right there, if you can't make it through the first minute, then this show is not going to work for you. But the first minute is the crazy weird parts of this. Then it gets into the more realistic parts of this episode and this show. And I loved kind of the aspects of how it's like this mystery road trip. We're searching for my father and getting this band together. This, they're not really having the same skills, essentially. One is, book smart, one is kind of street smarts, and the other one is kind of the guide. And it's showing them on this road trip of them running into all of these different roadblocks, essentially. Going to the restaurant, not getting served, having the law chase them down. Literally, people are shooting at them. There's a gunfight on the open road. Like, that is insane that what they're having to deal with at this time. But then when the introduction of the police, or the sheriff rather, comes into the mix, and then them getting taken into the woods, essentially being executed, like, it is horrifying. It is such a tenseful way of framing things, of just having to drive a vehicle across a county line. It is terrifying that this guy with a shotgun is just casually talking to them, and they have matter of seconds before the sundown. And I thought that was another interesting thing of showing this sundown county, sundown town, that is a historical element that I guess I was not aware of. So it's almost this history lesson as well. But then getting into the very last part of this show, my God, they're dealing with, like I said, the police, the racism, the way the laws are set up at this time. But then when we go into the woods and these mysterious Lovecraftian creatures come in, rip off arms and limbs and bodies of these police officers, I am like, oh god, we are getting back into the beginning of how this episode started with Cthulhu, and the way that the animals or these creatures are moving throughout this woods is awesome. Like, honestly, like, I'm sure you could get more into the depth of everything, but it was awesome to see, because these people are getting ripped apart. This is the creepy, weird factor of hopefully what this show is going to contain that I very much grasp onto. I had to look it up, and I think that these creatures are called ghasts, I believe. G-H-A-S-T, I believe. I looked it up. They're kind of like vampire-esque things, because, spoiler, the sheriff gets bitten and he turns into one. And that is another thing that I thought was just cool, is there's all of these creatures running amok, but there's even more that are coming out of the woodwork, especially if you're getting bit. And they find out that, you know, the weakness is light and whatnot, and they're burying. So I thought that that sequence of them having to, like, barricade into this kind of shack for a little bit, fighting against the creatures outside, but then the creatures inside, or the law inside that's turning into the monsters, was such a cool thing. So I hope that the rest of this series has those creepy, crawly monsters and Lovecraftian creatures and whatnot. But then as the episode finishes off, you know, we find the three main people that we're going with make it to Artem, and they go to kind of this giant mansion in the middle of nowhere. And some random kind of blonde white guy opens the door and says, "Welcome home to Atticus." And that kind of, I'm curious. This very much intrigues me on how this series is going to go. How come they know who he is? What exactly is going on with this giant mansion? What is this? What does this mean for our characters, and how do they know them? So I'm curious on what the hell episode 2 is going to have in store. I think episode 1 very much encompassed everything I wanted in the show. And if the next 7 episodes or 9 episodes, I guess I don't know how many episodes there are in this series, if the next full season of this hits on all of the beats that this one had, I think that this is going to be a standout series for sure. I mean, I loved episode 1, especially the creepy, crawly creatures and weird aspects of this. Yeah, I think that this hit on everything, you know, the acting, the aesthetic, the tense factor, and the scary, the what is more scary, you know, the racism, the police, or the creepy, crawly at night. So those are my thoughts. I think that episode 1 was by far a standout, and hopefully moving forward everything else is to this caliber. Let me know what you guys thought of episode 1, the good, the bad, what stood out to you. What did you think of those creatures at the end of this episode? Because my god, were they awesome in every single detail and aspect for myself. Let me know in the comments down below. Anyways though, as always, thank you so much for watching. I'm hopefully going to be doing these every single week on Sunday, doing a breakdown of these episodes, getting into the spoiler-free thoughts and obviously spoilers and whatnot, because I am loving this so far. So be sure to tune in every single week and let me know what you guys thought of this episode and any questions you have about the episodes in the comments down below. Anyways though, as always, thank you so much for watching. Watch some more videos up there or right over there, you know, brand new content every single week here on the JBuck Studios channel. I have a Twitch channel now where I'm gaming over there every now and then, so be sure to jump over to twitch.tv/JBuckStudios to follow all of that stuff and give me a follow and whatnot. Stay up to date on all of my other stuff at the social media down below. Like this video, subscribe to the JBuck Studios channel, and until next time, slip slap sloopy, here comes the poopy.